You know, Amitai, in my previous books on 2022, 2016, and also in articles, I referred to this very dangerous process where I identified there is a dangerous process where the flattening of education in the West, and particularly when I'm talking about the States, you know, education became kind of like a land where everything is subscribed to, you know, buzzwords and slogans and narratives and concepts and sound bites. That they all sound wonderful. They are all emotionally, you know, resonating with people. But the main challenge with those flattening of education, the main challenge is that actually it's totally crippled the ability of people to understand, let alone navigate a complex reality. And that process has two, I would say, negative outcomes. One has to do in the context, particularly when you talk about the story of Israel and the Palestinian conflict. And in two examples. One, there is, in my mind, a very clear connection between the growing anti-Israel, anti-Zionist, and now anti-Semitic sentiments and the crisis of education, the flattening of education. The more those sentiments increased in time, the more education flattened. The more the education flattened, the more those sentiments increased. So this is one example of this negative outcome, the damage. Another example of the damage is that lacking the ability to understand the complex reality and adhere to a narrative, emotional-based discussion result in a situation where people who comes maybe sometimes from the best intention in the world, hoping to achieve something positive, actually result in what they did, the opposite outcome. And what I'm meaning is that the fact that circles in the West, and particularly here, and particularly those who are affiliated with liberal circles, exempted Hamas from responsibility all those years. The fact is that Hamas ruled Gaza Strip since 2007. It's a government. And for some reason, the concept that every single person in the West will totally endorse, which is governmental responsibility and accountability, that concept has not been applied by Western circles when it comes to Hamas. And for example, in my 2022 book, and also the previous one, I wrote very clearly, I said, if you will continue to exempt Hamas from responsibility, the outcome will be more death, more destruction for both Israelis and Palestinians. So people who basically exempted Hamas from responsibility because they are coming from an outlook that is shaped by narratives and concepts and buzzwords and slogans and narrative feeling good world, not only did not improve the situation in Gaza, they make it worse because by exempting Hamas from responsibility, they basically discourage Palestinian voices who actually objects Hamas way and does not agree with Hamas way and want a different way. So this is one example of the damage that is caused, and the other example is that of the damage of this crisis of education is that I'm saying, look, and I wrote about it as well. When you take away the building blocks of real education, which are critical thinking, we talked about it, media literacy, context, nuance, understanding sequence of events, exploring the relationship between cause and outcomes, actions and reactions. When you push aside all these things that unfortunately happened in the time or in the era of the narrative-based discussion, you are actually dismantling, tearing apart the fabric of functioning, healthy society. And I think that we see the manifestation of that already in front of our eyes. And so, I post-October 7, I came across, in social media, I saw a poster that allegedly was made by students in Harvard. I don't know to say if it's correct or incorrect, but the posters basically was a quintessential representation of the flaw of the educational system. You saw all the buzzwords, genocide and, baby killers and all those things. October 7 was not there. Kidnapped were not there. Rape was not there. You couldn't find it. It wasn't there. It didn't exist. Reality was distorted. And one of the things that I looked when I saw it, I saw there was a little word in a very small letters, and the word was context. But it was in a very small letters. And what I'm saying is that if you visualize that poster in front of you, we should say to ourselves, that poster has to be replaced with another poster, a poster that really presents what education is about, critical thinking, media literacy, all those things that we talked about, context, nuance,